Hello. Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to my video. Ki hal chal? I hope you're doing good. In this, we're gonna see count mentions per user. Problem 3 is already live. You can just go and watch it, and articles will come up here. Now, it simply says that you are given an integer array, which is like integer number of users. So if you go down, you have these number of users. You have two users. Okay, it represents the total number of users you have, and basically you have an array called as events, which is this events array. Now please make sure you look at this events array pretty carefully, because it has some number of modifications. One is that this is a message type. Okay, it's a message, or it's a offline or online. Like, it is kind of an event type. Event can be message or offline. Okay, if you see, it can be message or offline. Okay, it can be message or offline, message or offline. Okay, then what is next thing? Next thing is, at what time did this came up? It came up at time 10, it came up at time 11, it came up at time 71. Message at 71, same way 10, 11, 12. So this is okay, at what time they're coming up. And what is the next thing? Next thing is corresponding token. This you can also say as what is happening. It's kind of a token. So what this indicate is, let's read it. So event, we have event. It can be a message event or can be offline event. A message event will look like message, corresponding timestamp, and some string. Same way offline, timestamp, and some string, which is an ID. What this ID itself indicate that this user with this specific ID, he became offline at this timestamp, and he will come online after 60 units of time, which means timestamp plus 60, he will be back online automatically. He'll back online. So this is what this offline event indicates. Okay, let's look at the message event. It indicates that this specific timestamp, I was mentioning that user. So I just did a mention and mentioned the users, all these users in this timestamp. So what this mention string indicate is, I will be given some ID numbers. What it means is, at this specific timestamp, I did a mention and mentioned ID 0 and ID 1, two users I mentioned. What this line indicates? It indicates that the ID 0 person went offline at time 11, which ultimately also indicate he will come online at 11 plus 60, which is 71. At time 71, he will come online. Okay. Same way, this message indicates, okay, something happened at 71, but mention happened 71, but for what? For who? So here indicates all the online users were mentioned. So whatever users I had, here I am hard coding, okay, users 0 and 1, but here it is saying whoever is currently online, they will be mentioned here at time 71. And there's also one more variable called as all indicates no matter the person is online or offline, just mention them, just simply mention them, mention all the users. Okay, lastly, when you know what all commands are there, which is in your events, lastly you have to return the mentions array, where mention of I represents number of mentions for the user with the id I, which ultimately means that in total id 0 person was mentioned twice. In total, again, in total id 0 person was mentioned twice, id 1 person was mentioned once. Same way, id 0 person was mentioned twice, id 1 person mentioned once. This is what the answer I have to return. Now, very important stuff, that all users are initially online, right? Second important stuff, if a user goes offline or comes back online, their status change is processed before handling any message that occurs at the same timestamp. What it means is that if a person is going online or offline, any online offline event happening, that will be processed first before processing the message. Which means that if these two events were at the same timestamp, I would have processed offline event first, and then I will process message event. Message is simply a mention event. So that's a very important fact. And obviously, you know that things will be processed on the base of timestamp. Earlier the timestamp, the earlier the processing will be. That is very obvious. Now, just see how, again, there is nothing, data structure is like very simple. It is a very straightforward question. Just do what is being said, making sure you don't make blunders. Okay, firstly we realized that these messages will be processed on the basis of timestamp. So firstly I will sort on the basis of timestamp. Again, make sure that if you sort things, if for the same timestamp, let's say if they would have been same timestamp, for the same timestamp, just make sure one thing, that offline event should come first and then the corresponding message event. But here the timestamp is less, so this is how they will be sorted. First this, then this, and then this. Okay, let's process them. We will handle this specific message. What will happen when I say handle it? Obviously, I will try to get these tokens out. For a message, this string, it can either it can give multiple tokens, or it can give a here, or it can give a all, which ultimately means that I somehow should be maintaining what all users I have. What all users I have? By simply checking, you can simply go and check the mentions. Mention, I will simply in the very beginning make a mention array and say, okay, I have two users, ID 0, ID 1. Now I will grab out the tokens and I will say, okay, the first token is ID 1. With the first token itself, with the first token itself, if it is a here, I will simply have to maintain some kind of, which will track what was the offline time for this specific user I. So I'll maintain, okay, offline 0, offline time of 1. In the very beginning, again, this is for all the users. In the very beginning, it is 0. So this will help me to indicate at what time the person went offline. This will be helpful when I mention here. And again, if the token is all, so again, the token, which means it's a string, I'll get the first token out. Either that token is ID, or that token will be here, or that token will be all. In case of ID, okay, simply grab out this value, right? Again, I will tell you with the help of code also how to grab out, but simply grab out this specific, let me change the color, grab out this value, go to the corresponding mentions and increase the ID and increase the value by 1. Okay, if it would have been here, then I would have iterated on all the mentions and checked, is there anyone who is offline? Offline can be like offline, I can check with the help of current timestamp is 10, like 10. I can maintain at what time did this person, when I say this person, I mean this ID, this person went offline. They went offline because I know in, let's say if this time is t, he went offline, then in t plus 60 he will be back online. So I can just simply check the last time he went offline. If it has passed 60, which means he's already online now. So that's the reason I can simply have a 0 here in the very beginning. Okay, coming on back, here it is ID, sorry, here it is ID. So I just grab out this value, increased by 1, grab out this value, increased by 1. Okay, next thing, process offline. As I was offline, I will simply check, okay, at the corresponding, this is for corresponding value 0, he became offline at 11. Okay, no worries, offline at 11. Okay, let's come on back. Mention at 71, which means the token here is here. The token is here, which means grab out all the online people which I have right now. How will I do it? Simply iterate on all the people, which means int I is equals to 0, I is less than mention dot length, my writing is very bad, and then simply you will check. Okay, for ID 0, is he online now? First check. Okay, his timestamp is 11. 11 plus 60. Is it less than equal to current timestamp, which is 71? Yes. Okay, which means he's online now. If he's online, I can easily increase his timestamp value. Sorry, my mention value. So I'll increase his mention value for ID 0. Increase it to 2. Check for the next person. Next person is ID 1. It is 0. Oh, if it is 0, which means he never went to offline. He, like this, if this is 0, he never went offline. In that case, okay, nowhere to check, simply increase it. This is your answer. Let's very quickly again. Why I'm showing you example in detail is because There is no algorithm here. Just do as what is said. That's it. So, okay, let's say I firstly sort on the basis of time. And if the time would have been same, then maybe with the help of offline. Okay, then next message with these IDs. Okay, let's have a mention array. Then ID 0, ID 1. In the very beginning, ID 1 increased by 1, ID 0 increased by 1. Okay, go to offline at time 11. Things like the person became offline. So I can have an offline time for the ID 0. He became offline at time 11. Okay, proceed forward. At time 12, iterate on all. So I'll simply iterate on all and will simply increase the count by 1 for all of them. So no, like don't check now. For all, don't check it. Simply increase the count. Simply increase the count for all of them. This is the corresponding answer. Let's check the last example. Firstly, I will sort by the basis of time. 10, 12. Sorted. Okay. Firstly, offline. So I will simply check offline time for the ID 0 is 10. Is 10. Then message at time 12. But here, so I simply iterate on all the IDs. Let's say I will have a mention value, it is 0 and 1. I have two people or two users. Then I have to check here. So for the first ID 0, his offline time is 10. So 10 plus 60. Firstly, it is not 0, which means if it is not 0, he became offline at some point in time in his career. But for let's say time of 1, it is 0, which indicates that he never went offline. Now I check that if it is offline, then 10 plus 60. Is it less than 12? No, it is not, which means the person 0 is offline right now. Okay, don't increase it. Don't increase it. It will remain 0. But the person 1, value 0 indicates he's offline. Again, don't do a check like this. Don't do a check. No. Value 0 is the default value, which indicates he never went offline. Okay, which means increase the value by 1. This is your answer. Cool. Let's see the code. It's exactly what I told you. Firstly, I have a mentions array. I have an offline time array, right? Then I will sort the events. As you know, a event is nothing but this. To sort it, I will get this as a list, right? This as a list, which means I have to grab out the time. So if I show you, if I get one of the events like this. So one list is this A, another list is this B. It is A, it is B, right? I will sort by the help of time. So I'll get A dot get one. Again, you might ask, Aryan, why this is in Java? Because again, whenever there is some string manipulation, I hate C++ in that sense. So I usually end up in Java. Although you will find all the corresponding codes of all the languages on website. So yeah, no worries on that part. Now coming on, I will firstly grab out the time and convert it to integer because this is a string. This is a string. 10 is a string. 12 is a string. So do a dot get 1. This is get 0. This is get 1. This is get 2. Right? A dot get 1. Simply get that specific thing. You got the time A, time B. Then if it is same, if the time is same, I told you, if the time is same, then offline message or offline event type should be processed first. So if it is same, then offline, again, this indicates that O is compared, like O is more than M, right? So O, string starting with O, alphabetical or lexicographically order, should be processed first. That is what this line indicates. So this will say O or offline will be processed before M message. Cool. Now again, when you say get 0, is that this is actually a offline as an entire string, but the strings, but the strings are always compared lexicographically. So by comparing only the first letter itself, it will actually assign who should come first. Okay. Now, if it is different, then whoever is in lesser time will come first. Again, this is very important to sort it, right? When things are done, then go to all the events. If the event type is a message, then handle the message. If the event type is a offline, then handle offline. What will I do by handle offline? Simple. Handle offline, which means update the offline time for the specific event, for the specific ID. So from that specific event, parse out what should be timestamp. How will I do it? Simply from the event, get me the corresponding timestamp. So if I just show you back, this is one event now. This is one event now. I will get the timestamp from it. Simple. I'll get the timestamp from it. Get one will give me the timestamp for it. And then if I have to grab the ID, Simply just parse out get to and then pass it to integer. I'll get the ID. When I have this, I'll update and say for this ID, this is a timestamp. Now, this is handling offline. To handle message, simply go to all the events, right? So I'll simply say that, okay, I know this is the current event. This is the message right now. So I told you for a message, there are three possibilities. Either it can be something like this, or it can be a here, or it can be a all. So I'll get the first token out by splitting with the help of space. So I will simply say, get me the tokens. This is the corresponding, if I just say that first thing will be a message, then next thing will be timestamp, the next thing will be your actual id 0, id 1, or it can be a here, or it can be a all. Then I will do one thing, split this by 0. Oh, sorry, split this by space. So this tokens array for this will be nothing but id 0, then id 1. It will be here only. It will be all, right? Then I go to all the tokens, right? So again, if the tokens is this only, so it will be just one element in the inside in the entire array. If it is a all, do nothing. Simply iterate on all the people or all the IDs or all the mentions, increase them by one. If it is a here, simply have a check. If the person never went offline, which means offline is 0, which means he never went offline, or if he went offline, then offline plus 60 if it is less than timestamp, which means he has now came back online, then increase his mention. If not, again, if he is not here, like if it is not here, if it is not all, then obviously it is nothing but a simple ID. In that case, you are right now at a specific token, which means this token you are right now at. Grab the ID, which is this value. So I'll simply grab the substring from the token, grab the substring starting with the index 2, convert it to an integer. Now you will get the ID itself. With that ID, increase the mention for that ID and then simply keep on repeating. Again, whenever you will repeat the next time. If it is repeating, then obviously it is not a all or a higher, sorry, or a here, it will be next token. Cool, and that's how you can simply update it. And again, this is exactly what you had to do. As simple as that. Cool. I hope you guys got it. Again, this is pretty straightforward and simple. It's just that you have to do exactly what is mentioned. The article along with the code in all languages will come up here. And again, if you want HLD, LLD, syllabus, the DSM master sheet, practice problems, everything is right now here. Bye bye. Take care. Again, it is still in the phase of updating it. We'll update the articles, all that stuff. But yeah, content, we are still putting it.